Good morning. A strange thing happened last night. Something I swore I would never do. And I'll tell you what happened right before that. So I'm a big soccer fan. And I was watching the European competition, the Euro Cup, which happens every 4 years, but because of COVID, this one was a little bit delayed. And so I was watching it yesterday because I love soccer. But generally when I watch these competitions like the World Cup or the Euro, I will cheer for Germany. And then I'll pick kind of another team every now and then, like if Germany isn't doing well or something, I don't know. Sometimes I'll just pick an underdog team that I want to do well. And so like in the past, I've picked Belgium and I don't know, other countries too. It didn't really matter. But I always remember swearing to myself, I will never cheer. And I'm sorry if this rubs people the wrong way. But I told myself I would never cheer, come on Gladys, for Italy or Portugal or Spain. Those three countries, I was like, I would never. And I guess to some degree, the Netherlands. Anyways, I don't know what happened, to be honest, but yesterday I was watching the game. It was the final. The winner would take home the Euro Cup, and it came down to being two teams, England and Italy. And so Amanda asked me while I was watching, so who do you want to win? And I said, I think England. But when I thought about it, I didn't really care. It didn't really matter to me. It might have been different actually if Germany was in the final, but either way, I was like, I don't really care. I just want to see a good game. And sure enough, it was 1-1, went to extra time, and in the end, they had to decide the game by going to penalty shootouts. Lo and behold, Italy wins. And I'm watching with Amanda, and I was like, good for them. Like, they played really well, and they definitely deserved it. Like, absolutely. They were probably the best team in all of the tournament, like the entire tournament. And so I was not upset with the result. And so I think that might have been kind of the turning point. But also within the last year, I think I've realized that there's some things, some hills that are worth dying on, and there's some other ones that aren't. It's partially, I think, because, it might even be because of COVID, but I think a lot of it just has to do with understanding myself and how I view certain things in my life, what's most important, what's less important than that. And so I just came to the conclusion, it doesn't matter to me if Italy wins, and if they do, that's good for them. And so Amanda and I live in this part of Hamilton, which is like chock full of Italians. And so not long after they won, there was a slew of horns honking and people yelling and drums beating and things like that, and it was pretty sweet. Lots of like excitement. And I actually had to go to the church quickly to drop something off. And so I drove down to Westdale, and as I drove down there through kind of downtown Hamilton, James Street was hopping. It was just like tons of cars, like people with flags waving, and I was like, oh, that's so awesome. And I just like honked my horn, and people cheered, and I don't know Italian. I don't really care that they won. But after I got back from the church, I was like, Amanda, we have to go to James Street, and we have to put on some blue shirts. And we gave Gladys a little blue bandana, and we drove down there. And we kind of pretended that we were Italian and just like celebrated and kind of honked our horns and cheered with people. And it just, I don't know, there's something about it. It felt really pure and very sweet, and yeah, just like really, I don't know, the like sense of community, I guess, was really a huge I don't know, encouragement, I guess. Anyways, this all to say that even though we are definitely not Italian, and I don't care that Italy won, I was also very happy for all those people, and that they were able to experience that together, and that we kind of got a tiny little slice of it. And it just put a smile on our faces. We were laughing so much, and so it got me thinking about this verse. There's a verse in Romans 12, and it's talking about unity in community. And you know, the more I read that book, actually, the more I realize how much Paul is pushing this idea of being unified and being one together in the body. So in Romans 12, it says in verse, well, there's a few great verses here. It talks about like love in action. And so verse 9 in Romans 12, it says, love must be sincere, hate what is evil, and cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor serving the Lord. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Share with the Lord's people who are in need. Practice hospitality. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. And then this is the verse that I was thinking about. It says, rejoice with those who rejoice. Mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another. Don't be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Don't be conceited. I think it kind of lends itself to my experience last night with Amanda and the Italians in Hamilton. And I was reminded of this time when, back 15 years ago, when my dad passed away. And my sister was just about to get married. And she got married actually a week after my dad died. And I remember at my dad's funeral, my Uncle Frank, who's also passed since, but he used to be a pastor at Mission Baptist, and he charged the people of Mission Baptist. I remember this vividly. He said, and he talked about our family, and he said, this family is mourning today, and like dealing with some big things, but on Saturday they're going to be celebrating a marriage, and you need to be there for them in both of those things. And then he quoted this verse, rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. And I remember that time being very special for me, a time where not only did I like experience a lot of emotions, and there was a lot of big life changes, but I also remember just that was kind of the time when Mission Baptist became like not just my church family, but my family. And yeah, so whatever it is, like, regardless of where you are at, it's important to recognize where other people are at. And if they're celebrating, if they're rejoicing, rejoice with them. It's going to make you feel better too. And if they're mourning, take the time to mourn with them and build those connections, show them support, and just be there. So that's what I have to offer to you this morning. Chew on that a little bit. I hope you have a great day, and that God continues to bless you and keep you in everything that you do. So take care. I'll see you later.